Yo, what's going on, guys? Today's gonna be a bit of a different style of video because I mostly do like life advice kind of stuff on this channel, but I figured I got some good stories in the backlog, so might as well put them out there. But the title is not clickbait. I really did almost break $1 million exam exhibit. So let's start from the beginning. Back in 8th grade, or graduating 8th grade, my entire class went on this trip to DC and New York. And during that time, we had visited the Metropolitan Museum of Art, or the Met for short. And, we're walking around the Met and we're kids. We're being a little obnoxious. And we're just kind of wandering around, and eventually we get to the Met Gala exhibit. So they had all of the outfits from the Met Gala, and they just put them in the Met in this one large thing that you kind of walk through. And we're walking through, and we're laughing a bit because some of the outfits look a little silly. There was I feel like there was one that was literally just like underwear made out of bananas, and there was just like random like shirts and pants that said like funny shit on them. We were just having a little chuckle, and we were kind of out of place because it was mostly like adults walking around, and then it was just like us like four or five kids and our moms, and we're just walking through. And eventually we get to this large kind of like square where on every wall there are like a ton of different outfits. It's like the main centerpiece of everything. And we're looking around, and I go up to this one exhibit, and I'll put up a picture on the screen now. I later learned that it was the pianist Liberace's suit. He wore a ton of crazy suits. I don't really know much about the guy, but he seemed to be a very like famous musician, wore a lot of eccentric outfits, and this was one of them. And I'm just looking at the thing, and then all of a sudden I go to lean on the glass for some reason. I could not to this day tell you why I tried to lean on the glass, but I go to lean on the glass, and as my body starts to kind of tip over, I hear my friends like shout out from across the way, "There's no glass! There's no glass!" And then just boom! And I just fucking slam right into the exhibit, and the mannequin is just wobbling. It did not fall over, but it was very close to falling over. And everyone, like, my adrenaline is pumping at this point, but from what I heard, everyone was looking at me, and there was quite a lot of people in there. And so I'm just like laying flat down in the exhibit because the exhibit is like it's like kind of like a cutout of like a hole in the wall. Like it looks like there it would be a wall, and then there would be glass, and then inside that there would be like this mannequin area, but there was no glass. I thought it was very clear there was no glass. And so I fall in, and I'm scrambling. But if we flash back to the past a little bit, before all of this, I was in the gift store, and I had gotten this like clear silly putty. I don't know. I was in 8th grade. And I was just messing around with it. And I also had a penny in my pocket. And for some reason I had just put the penny in the clear silly putty, and I was just fucking around with it, and it was in my pocket. So when I fell, it like fell out of my pocket or something, and it launched like to the back of the exhibit. So instead of me just trying to get up out of the exhibit as quickly as possible, I like crawl to the back and grab the silly putty. And then once I kind of gather my bearings and everything, it is just chaos. Like there was a girl like recording us, and then I had a friend who was like putting his phone in her face like, if you're gonna record me, I'm gonna record you. And like all my other friends are like shouting at people or like security. I don't It was just intense. And then I kind of link back up with my mom, and she is just like arguing with the security guard because the security guard had taken my silly putty, and he thought that it was something that I had stolen off of the exhibit. And it's like, bro, it's silly putty. I didn't steal it off of the Liberace suit. But he was like, okay, but what is this? And he takes out the penny from inside the suit, and I was like, oh my god, you have to be kidding me. So my mom is arguing, and I'm just kind of like sitting there. I was like, I don't even know what to do. And my friends are all arguing. They're kind of all grouped up, and there was I think that there was like some random guy, and he had like yelled out. I don't think it was at me, but I think it was at one of my friends, like, "You're being fucking autistic," and it's like, oh my god, and that just like launched out into even crazier like arguments and shit. It was like a whole thing. And then eventually we kind of we had all been gathered up, and the security guard just like walked us over to the elevator. And then he was fucking pissed. He was not happy, but he took us down, and we didn't even get fully kicked out. Like we got kicked out of like that exhibit for sure. But like I do remember having pictures of like us at the very end after we got kicked out, and we're just like kind of hanging out on some benches like in the lobby area. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm like fully banned. I don't think so. As it's like if you got banned from Walmart or you got banned from Target, you can just go back in. No one's gonna care. So I don't know if I would ever get. I think I'd be able to go back in just fine, but who knows? Hopefully I wouldn't see that guy again. But yeah, apparently because there was no teachers with us while we were doing that. It was just like my mom and I think a friend's mom. But I had told like the teachers after it, and they were like, "Oh my God." And then like I'm long gone from middle school now, but every now and again I'll hear about my teachers from middle school, and apparently they still talk about it to this day. Like I had a cousin, a younger cousin who was in one of the classes that I used to take with one of those teachers, and she was telling me that even now they were like still talking about that. So I don't know. Crazy stuff. But definitely it was definitely unexpected, but I would call it a highlight of the trip because I think it made for a pretty good story. It was a little fun moment. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. That's about all I have for you guys today, so I'll catch you in the next one. Later.